because there are some decisions I make,
So
and then
much.
when I come back to realize what
You know
I've
what she
actually
said?
done and all that.
You're icked by the fact that you have to make your own
No,
decisions.
I'm icked by myself. Even if we're just hooking up, it has way more meaning. Like
What meaning
at this point in
what
time.
meaning can come from just hooking up?
No, like even if I were just hooking up, because the hooking up you were doing before your 20s is
We were
different.
doing
I'm not saying specifically you.
hooking up before 20? That's my mother's house.
Exactly.
You want us to dance? You want us to hit the digging?
But beauty is beauty.
Beauty is beauty. There's already set beauty standards that no one can deny. They exist.
So
I'm
They are
waiting for you
already
guys
set.
to finish this argument. Then we can
it's not an argument.
count us in.
Yo manzi.
What up, Paul?
DONT
Don't
AT
add
ME.
me.
Don't at
me.
me. What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Welcome back to another episode of the Autonomy podcast.
I am Paul.
I am Manzi. I realized I
You're
No,
not supposed to.
So what is it supposed to be? Welcome back to another episode of the Autonomy podcast, yeah? I'm Paul, I am Manzi, then what?
Then welcome.
No, I'm not supposed to say welcome back to another episode. This is the Autonomy podcast, that's what I'm supposed to say. We're doing it again, eh?
And you also cursed
Oh yeah, happens, man.
again. Disgusting.
See, it was intentional. God knew what he was doing. My energy was there, bruh. You want us to dance? Let's go, okay.
Yo manzi.
What up, Paul?
DONT
Don't
AT
at
ME.
me.
Don't
at
at
me.
me. What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
This is the Autonomy podcast,
I am Paul.
and I am Manzi, and welcome back to another episode.
Yeah, so now we can just the way we want.
You guys feel that intro? I know you felt it,
I've been trying to get something. Yeah? Our producer has been.
bro. I think
Squeezy,
Daniel
guys.
Mukisa is the most stressed man in Kampala right now.
I'm actually stressed because of Daniel.
Bro,
Honest. You guys know.
talk about the number of tries we had to do to get this on. You guys don't know what we put into this. It's like a lot of work.
Yeah, and man. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can notice that these are new digs.
A new
Kind of new dig.
We won't talk a lot about it because contractual. No, but money guys, we missed you. It's been 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks by the time the video
What
comes.
have you been doing ever since we showed the tribe? Did you guys like the tribe? Did you like the tribe podcast? Did they like the tribe podcast?
Comment in the video, in the comments, whether you like the Tribe podcast. Man, I've been up to a lot of things. Been
What are the
working,
things?
been school. I'm trying to catch up on school. Guys, forget that we're university students and it's the ghetto out there. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Just school, working my life, also friendships, energy, everything. Just life has been lifing. But we're here, we're happy, we're content. I have a nice, better chair today. So, I mean, I can't complain. I can't complain.
Good.
What have you been? Have you been?
I watched a movie. I saw some guy who said, asked him like, what do you think about your life? And he was like, what fear do you have? And he was like, oblivion. And I liked the statement he said, is like, I'm on a roller coaster that only goes up. So I'm manifesting the roller coaster that only goes up.
Reminds me of this scene from the Scarface, where he's in the car with his friend and he asks him, "Hey Chico, why aren't you comfortable? Why aren't you happy?" And then he's like, "What do you want?" It's like the world, Chico, and everything in it. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. So, yeah, man.
Thank you guys for liking this podcast, by the way.
Thank you for liking, subscribing.
Yeah,
and
and
if you
okay,
did,
and if you have not liked or subscribed, please. This is the first time we're actually saying it. So
at the
at the
beginning,
beginning, so If you have not liked and subscribed to this video,
You're a hater.
like, subscribe, notifications, and you're a hater.
Yeah, I'm just joking, man.
Yeah,
Guys, just
so
guys,
thank you guys, because this is only possible because of you guys watching and people saying that our stuff is actually okay. Me, like, I'm actually funny. For Manzi, I don't know, but yeah.
Aura. I mean, if it wasn't for you, we'd still be shooting in my hostel room. So, but those are some nice digs, by the way. Like that was a nice go.
Will I be there?
I didn't say that, bro. I didn't say that. So, before we continue, today in the studio, we have a female rights activist. Can I call you she? Okay, guys. Mr.
That's
Pepper
not funny,
Zime.
by the way. That's not funny at
Okay, no,
all.
but we do actually have a female rights activist. She's called Shiba, not Karunji. I know you guys were at the concert this weekend, but Shiba. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome. This is video. What?
Which video? How many videos have you been on?
I'm not sure
You're,
anymore.
you're a
I think
returning guest. How do you feel?
they love me,
Who's
so
they?
I'm back.
Who's they?
That people love me. That's why you have me back.
But Shiba, tell us about you. What do you do? Who are you? We're giving you an opportunity to tell us who you are.
I don't know. I'm a student of light.
Student
I'm
of
learning
life.
every day.
Okay.
Um, I identify as a feminist. Don't punch the screen. I identify as one of them.
What else?
'Cause I was one of those people, as one of those difficult women.
Mhm.
Yes. I'm a law student as well. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can be defined by 15 sentences. That's who you are. That's how
Um,
you feel.
if
This
you
is
want me to define myself, wait for the book when it comes out and buy it.
You're writing a book.
You know, Shiba strikes me as the kind of person who would, but only women would buy it. Me, I've told you. Maybe other boys that like.
Manzi, is your life interesting enough to write a book
I
about?
don't think so. Not
Not
yet.
yet, eh?
Not yet. I mean, some parts of it are interesting. I could write like a Wattpad novel, like just very dramatic, not substance. But we're now writing. I'm about to enter where you write any, but men like me don't write books. We're written about, so never mind. Never mind.
This is Shaka. Shaka said.
I stole that from somewhere, by the way, so I had to first
Okay,
use it
okay, okay,
today.
okay.
I forgot what was supposed to start with.
Icebreaker.
Yeah.
So today's icebreaker is about music, and everyone here has good music taste apart from, say it with me,
Man.
Manzi. Manzi had a horrible song that he gave me before we were coming here. I was on the judge, and my ears like. Ugh. So please give the people your ugly song.
You know, the thing about being a genius, you don't appreciate it in your time. When Da Vinci was alive, they didn't consider him a great man. So I'm just with local people who don't understand exquisite taste.
Okay, there's a song. That song. Say,
It's called Lost by You, no? Lost Without You by
Ah,
Robin Thicke.
it even has a
Hey, come
forgettable
on, come on,
title.
come on, come on. It's such a good song. Shaka likes it because he has taste. And about Daniel Mukisa, I don't know. Daniel Mukisa is always serious. I don't know if he listens to music. But yeah,
yes, the Daniel Mukisa.
Daniel Mukisa. This guy's name is more famous than our podcast now. Okay, what have you guys? What have you guys? What have you guys?
So what's on your mind right now? What's on
Probably
your mind?
Sexy Red. I'm
Yeah,
looking for a
sexy.
war.
Actually,
Get
now that
it.
you
When
talk
people,
about sex, right, that's what's on my
Of
mind.
course.
get it
And that's
sexy.
Yo,
Man, people, when I said sexy, you're supposed to like stand on that chair. Like,
and first
get
part,
it sexy.
not on our podcast. Not on our podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe if
What's
you can open an OnlyFans and listen to Sexy Red. What of you?
respectful.
the what's on my mind right now are two songs actually. One is by Friday.
By Friday.
Yeah, something called Friday. Friday, but with like two Y's. Eh?
Okay.
Baddest in the room.
I'm the baddest in the room.
Uh, you're the baddest in the room.
So just
No, you said I'm the baddest in the room. You sounded like whatever as like what's Travis Scott?
yeah,
You
I think it's
Yeah.
Travis
sounded like
Scott.
that. Travis.
Yeah, there's baddest in the room. Then another one by Spider MC. abantu mukisa.
Abantu what?
Abantu mukisa.
Okay. Abantu
You know, producer, you know abantu mukisa.
is approving, is giving us a thumbs up of approval.
That's yeah.
You see, now does that I want you guys to listen to my song, I want to listen to your two songs and we see whose songs are better. Honestly.
Those two songs, even abantu mukisa is anyway.
Me that
We let the people what tell us. The people tell us.
Sexy Red.
What's your song?
I told
You
you
didn't
the
tell us the
moment
song.
you mentioned
What
sexy
song?
red,
What song?
All of them.
looking for that hose.
Okay, of course, of course. I'm looking for the host. That one, that one.
Hmm.
Very disappointing. That is your taste.
Anyway, another thing for the activist in the room.
Don't overemphasize that thing.
But
You
that's
don't want to be known as
what
an
you say. That's
activist.
what you like.
Not
Embrace it.
necessarily.
How would
Who
you
you
want to be?
are.
Like, if I'm turning to you, what should I say?
But I'm doing the most basic things. I don't think they need like
Yeah, but one by one.
You would make a bundle.
Plus, this is like manifestation. For us, we see it.
you're
You
seeing,
get
but
it? For us, we see it.
okay.
Yeah, so
That's so offensive. So we see what? We see what? What do we see?
we see the future. We see what's going to happen.
Let's continue.
Yeah, so a question we had is, are you happy with how things are right now?
No, since we're entering independence, and this video will come out after independence, but since we're in that independence, how do you feel about this great nation? Are you proud of where we're at? Do you think we're in the right
Are
direction?
you Ugandan, by the way? Fully Ugandan.
I'm fully Ugandan.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you're a good person
Fully
to answer this
Ugandan.
question.
I'm a Muganda. Both my parents are Baganda. So
Mhm. So tambula ng'Omuganda.
the only words I have for our nation, we could do way better. That's all I can say.
The only thing you can say that won't get you cancelled. Eh?
That's the only thing I can say.
No, but
The
do you think we're taking the right steps? Or do you think we're moving in the right direction or we're moving in the wrong direction?
no,
No, what?
but we could do better. That's all I can.
No, we are moving in the right
That's
direction.
media
We are not
training.
moving in the right
We're
direction.
not moving in the right direction.
But what of you? What do you think? What do you think?
Not on the draconian laws, not on the corruption. Of course, we are taking horrible steps, and we could do better.
For me, I feel like there are some things that are doing well and some things that are still a bit lacking.
What are the things doing well?
Things like infrastructure is improving so far, mostly like roads and buildings, and I feel like in that direction we're doing a bit better. The things we're not doing a bit better is money, where the money goes. Who gets the money? You get there's a big discrepancy between people who have it and people who don't, and people who have it have a lot of it. So yeah, but to me, I feel like we're moving in the right direction, although it's very very slow, very slow. But for me, in my mind, I feel like our generation, we should stop blaming the older generation because you can't. Okay, I'm going to say you can't teach one old dog new tricks, but I feel like it will come from us if we also adopt the habits that have been circulating around the people. But as personally, me, Manzi, Shiba, once we get into those positions, because we will get into those positions, we choose to be better than the people who we are condemning. Yeah, and we'll reach there and realize it may not actually be as easy as we thought it's going as we make it to be. Like it's not just everyone want you get. Yeah, so
So my opinion on this is not conflicted in any way. I am completely on Shiba's side. I think we're taking. Uh, it looks worse today than it was yesterday, in my opinion. When you put things into consideration, like of course buildings are going to keep going up because technology keeps evolving, the economy keeps diversifying, but the economy is not particularly improving. So I don't want to over get passionate about this topic, but I just don't think we're taking the right steps.
you know,
And I
you've
think,
said that,
especially
yeah?
with this, as independence happens, I just feel like a lot of resources are misplaced. But then again, to each their own, to each their own. Maybe, but I agree with one thing you said, that it is our generation to make the difference. So, yeah, guys, just do more, man. Be better than our past generation. Invest more, work harder, put more money in your country. Don't run away. Don't repatriate. Just stay here, man.
I saw you looking at me. at a point. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, Manzi said what I wanted to say, but like I get where you are coming from, where you say that when you reach those positions, you shall see how it actually feels to be there and why they are making the mistakes that they are making. But then I disagree with you where you're like, we can't blame the old people
We have to
for
blame
what's
them.
going on. Because no, we have to. It comes from the blaming and the criticism that we can reach there and also do better. Because that means if we don't blame them or criticize them for what's going on, that means when we reach there, we have no complaints, we have no criticisms to change, to address.
Anyway, true. I'm praying for you to be in a position of power, and I will be here to talk about the decisions you have made and how better it's going to be with Shiva. Yeah,
Shiba for president, guys.
Shiva for president. Be ambitious, Shiva. Yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. You're 20 years old, not so? You're past the
21,
20 years.
yes.
You've said your age on camera. That's
What's
crazy.
wrong with it?
It's crazy.
I can't be afraid of age.
When you're 30 years old, 30 something years old, people start
Guys,
practicing.
I can't
this
stop.
is the benchmark
Let me
now.
tell you something. Even if I'm 81, I will stand here and speak.
You see the difference is 81 shows, 30, like 36 doesn't show.
Let me tell you something. I will mention my age because what's the whole point?
Oyogeza buto.
No, the issue with women, with actually not even only women who are older than me, but women in general, is that they've been conditioned to feel like aging is a problem. You're even seeing from all that we are consuming and all the media we are consuming, like wrinkles are a problem, aging is a problem. Last time I saw Kim Kardashian making an interview, and she's turning, I think, 40 soon. Oh,
She's
she's already
43.
40.
She's
She
43.
said, I only have 10 years on me, and after that I'm over. I looked at this paper and I'm like, what 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 are you talking about?
But you know, you
I
have
was
to
like,
understand.
why?
Her brand is her appeal. It's her brand.
No, yes, it's her brand is what?
Her
Brand,
appeal. How she
Her
appeals, how
looks,
she
her
yes, how
looks,
she, but
her
why must,
class,
what
etc.
I'm saying, that why must our beauty currency be deemed like youthful? You must not age. You must, yet we are human. And even all those products that keep saying anti-aging,
Anti-aging cream.
anti-wrinkles, all those things are a scam, because inevitable. Like wrinkles are inevitable, aging is inevitable. I feel like we just need to embrace the fact that you can still be, beauty still remains even if you're aging, even if you have wrinkles. I feel like that's a myth, and we need to break that stereotype and kind of thinking.
okay, but it's true. I get where you're coming from, but do you think it's so bad for you to want to be as young, like for as long as you can?
That's how you've been conditioned to think, that you're supposed to
Her argument
stay
is
looking
as
young.
much as that is the norm, she's saying it should not be the norm.
It should not be that,
In
no,
her opinion. So
because it's inevitable. Like,
it's an unrealistic
why
expectation
why
to have on
should
yourself.
why should we not be why should we keep being anti-aging zombies, yet at
My
the end of
guys,
the day we
I don't
age?
think it's other people against you aging. I feel like it's you
No, it's
against you
society
aging.
against you aging, which comes down to you being against you aging.
I mean, the only reason you don't want to, the only time you're worried to talk about your age is not when you're talking to yourself, it's when you're
Yes,
talking
it's
to
when you're
someone
talking to
else.
someone
So
else.
No, but
it definitely means it's not about you, it's about how everyone else will
Yeah, how
perceive you.
everyone is
And her
perceiving you.
argument is, if the argument is that everyone perceives me different, Why is that a fair expectation for me to have on myself? It is an unfair, realistic
And I
expectation.
come on here because I'm 35 and I say my age that I'm 35.
Because you're not afraid to
What's
call
going
yourself
to happen
21
to
in the
me? Will
dark.
I die because I'm 35? Like,
I
let's
don't think you're
calm
getting the
down.
context for this.
I think you mean okay. I think you mean that some people want to be youthful forever, and there's no crime in wanting to feel young and energetic. But then again, like, what would be the point of living if we would just stay young forever? At the end of the day, if you're 70 years and you're not, you don't want to be 70 years like of age, but you want to have 70 years of life that you've lived.
And
70
also,
years.
even if you don't say your age, you'll still keep aging. And by the time you reach that age, you get.
Okay, I think let's first of all, today's topic is all about your 20s. So my first question is, were you excited to enter this age? Like, were you excited to enter your 20s?
Of course, I was excited. Like, I'm excited to grow. Um, yes, I was excited. Like, if you talk to 15-year-old me was excited to be 20. But now that I've reached here, I feel like, what was that whole
My
point?
next question would be, what did you think your 20s would look like? You know, what did you think being 20 years old would be?
Why are you excited to be?
Bruh, what do you mean? I don't know. You know, as a guy, you're indoctrinated to believe that the older you are, the more value you have. I don't know if that makes sense. Because when I was younger, I always wanted to be the Form 6. And I can give the example of when I was in Deji.
Mm.
Like in Deji, Form 1 to Form 4, you wear shorts. Yeah. And you work tirelessly to make it to HSC to get
Get
trousers.
her.
And it's a very futile and simplistic thought. And they
Mm.
indoctrinated it into us because even like, you know, in school, like let's say you're in the cinema, in the reading, you know, in the you're watching movies, yeah?
Mm.
So Form 6 is fourth, Form 5,
Yes, at the cinema.
Form 5, Form 6 is fourth. So as you go back, basically, every year that passes, you get closer and closer to the TV. It's a very simple thing. But you know, it takes you 365 days to move to one bench ahead. Do you understand how crazy that is? So for me, growing older was always like every time I grew older, I'm like, yeah, I'm now more of a man. And I was actually more excited for 18 than I was for anything because you know, 18, I'm now a man. Guys.
And when you're like 20, like 21, you realize how young you are at 18. Eh? I don't know, like every time I think about it, when I was like in Form 2, I thought I was grown. But like now, in my mind, I was like, I was such a kid. Exactly, I was such a kid. I was such a kid. But for me personally, I was I was very excited. Now you see, I'm like a last born with like my twin sister, and I used to always want to like do the things my elder siblings are doing. You get like you reach home, like you have access, like you have rights.
Man, you don't
Oh,
You
put on the
get it.
TV if you want.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Big
You
boy.
don't have to ask for everything. Like I used to ask for permission to go and play. Imagine. So when I started getting older, I just disappear. Like they call me like you left. I'm like, hey, yeah, I left. You get so I feel like that's the only pro. But now that I'm here, sometimes I miss that feeling before I knock on that door. Like, yo, can I go out to play? Yeah.
You miss
So
other people having control of what you,
Ish, yeah.
of
to
some
revert back to the
decisions you
question
make.
is, what did you think your 20s would be like? What did you think? Like, what was your expectation? Like, just that. Like,
One of my major issues that I used to have, and I think I even still have them now, is um people having control over what I have over the things I have to do, where I have to be. And I even remember one time my dad told me that as for now, we have to make decisions for you. Like it's upon me where you go, what you do, what you wear. Like he said, it's upon us. So you have no say over these. And me and my sister wanted to throw hands. And I'm like, how dare you? What? And I'm like, I really know when I enter my 20s, no one is going to tell me shit. But then I've reached here now and I feel like still people are telling me what to do. And I'm like, where does it end? Though now, of course, I can make a lot of decisions on my own. But then now as Paul said, he misses the times when they would make decisions for them, because there are some decisions I've made right now, and I was like, and I look back and I'm like, if only someone was making those decisions for me now, I would blame those people for what happened when I made those decisions, or for things turning out like differently than I thought. Like I would have someone to blame, but right now, since I'm making that decisions, I have me
You're
to
fully
blame.
responsible for
Yeah,
it.
I'm fully responsible for it, which gives me like a
Pressure.
massive ache, because really and truly, because there are some decisions I make,
So
and then when I
much.
come back to realize what
You
I've
know what she
actually
said?
done and all that.
You're icked by the fact that you have to make your own
No, I'm
decisions.
icked by myself. The
Mm.
decisions that I make, because I
Can
stand
you you
back, I
can you
make
can tell
these
us some of these
decisions.
decisions?
I come back. You know some of these decisions.
But
Like
it's
You
also your
can just
decision.
hey 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 hey
I did some
hey
of these
hey
decisions.
come on
And I
come on.
look back and I'm like, I'm so disgusted by myself. If people are still making for me decisions, I wouldn't have gone here. I wouldn't have done this.
But
And
think
I'm
about
like,
it like this as well, that if people hadn't made some of the good decisions you've made, we as a human beings, as a
mm,
species, we have a tendency of fixating on the bad.
mm,
And we always ignore the fact that sometimes we made some really great independent decisions.
real.
Because honestly, first of all, I thank my mom because she gave me a sense of autonomy when I was still young. Like she gave me this free exposure to make
Mm,
my own mistakes and etc and etc.
mm,
And yes, I've made a lot of mistakes,
mm,
but I would not have achieved like 90% of the things I've done if I did not have the autonomy I had. I would still be very narrow-minded. My decisions would be very I wouldn't be a free thinker. I would not
yeah.
have tried the things I've tried, the different pursuits I've made, be it business or work or friendships. There are a lot of things that even in terms of friendships, like there's certain friends that my mom would tell me, this isn't a good friend for you. And these people turned out to be the best human beings I've ever met.
Mm,
So sometimes the autonomy of humanity, like the ability to make your own decisions, can be a life-changing thing. So
actually,
pros and
I've
cons.
also like had, like, best of what you've said, I've also like read and also like had people talk about these experiences. They've said that growing up in homes that have restricted how they think, what they do, those people, even when they are adults, they remain children. In that, those are the people you'll find asking you, "What should I do? What should I like?" Like they clearly want to wear this, but they tell you, they ask you, "What should I wear? Are you sure this looks good on me?" Like this person can't make a decision for themselves.
Anyway, I feel like that's an assumption because I've grown up in a controlled home, like where you're told what to do, and true, some things do turn out in some way, but one question, like for both of you, I've got this idea from both of you. What's so bad about control? Because from just a few statements you've said, you don't control, like, so, like, how you said something about how you don't like being told what to do. What what's so wrong about being told what to do? And also, are you told to do the wrong things, or you just have a rebellious nature where you're like, nah, I don't want, I just don't want, I want to do me. I just want to do me.
Um, the problem with control is that
You don't have your rights. Eh?
the thing is, our parents, as much as they are parents, and we think that they know everything and they know that best, at times they also don't know what they are doing. They are only trying
More
to
often
do.
than you would like to believe, they don't know what
Yes,
they're
at
doing.
times they don't know what they are doing and they're just winging it. Most people who are parenting, parents who I've talked to, friends who I know right now are parents who I talk to, they be like, We don't know what we are doing, but you just have to continuously do it." So at times they find you, there are things that they will tell you, and you won't see how it's making sense and how it's connecting. Now, like when I was young, when we were younger, um, my sister and I, most of my child, of course, I spent them with my sister. So there is a time my dad likes matoke when it's, yeah, when it's raw, like when it's young, like non-tribe, when it's still. So one time I don't know. One time the maid was like, it's the all the matoke is ripe. So my dad was so first one like, you just cook it all since first that's what we like. So when they took to serve to our dad came and complained and was like, and our dad was this kind of person, he would come from the dining and stand at the doorway and tell them and complain about what he has eaten. So they were like, but the kids love it. And he's like, eh, the kids love it. So if the kids love it so much, and I thought he was going to be like, if the kids love it so much, let you keep making it. So he was like, if the kids love it so much, let them go construct their own homes, hire their own maids to cook for them the right bites okay they want. But as long as they're in my house, we're going to eat what I want to eat. And me and my sister looked at each other because um my sister is younger than me. She's 19. And then we have an older brother, he's 26 now. But me and my sister were the rebellious. We have rebellious spirits. If you think I'm a rebel, you should meet my sister. She's much worse. And our brother is the oldest one. Can you imagine? He's the quiet one. He listens to everything. So, and then I was like, this doesn't make sense. I feel like if it's available and I can eat it, why not? Why shouldn't we eat it? Why must we not eat it because it's your decision? So there are some decisions that they make that don't even make sense, but you just have to listen to them because they said so.
Okay, I get where you're coming from, and honestly speaking, I also have situations where I'm like, why? But that makes me think, like, as people, not just okay, not I don't think it's just our generation's problem, but do you feel like also that's a certain feeling of entitlement where we feel like we deserve just because we are their children? Like we don't know. Like I feel like kids don't know how lucky we are.
Just to like before you even go into the next thing is you said something about do we just like to not to have control? And I think it depends on the type of person. Because as a creative, if you are a creative, it is very difficult for you to take orders because creativity is damned by discipline, not like that kind of discipline, but by that authoritarianism where someone tells you what to do. Like imagine if you're creative and you have a vision and you have a plan, and then someone tells you do it like this, it ruins it. So sometimes, you see, I don't even think like orders are bad. Because if there were no orders, there'd be no soldiers, there'd be no doctors,
There
there'd be
would
no
be
engineers.
chaos.
You understand?
Mm.
Certain professions and certain types of people are more responsive to order and discipline, and certain types of people are not. And the people that are not responsive to discipline, it's not always a bad thing because it is through that. Actually, talk to any creative you've ever met, an artist, musician, they'll tell you that they needed a bit of chaos to create what they needed to create. And I'll even use you as an example because I think, yes, I've known you for a very long time, Paul. And for a very long time, no one could have believed that you would ever do a podcast in a million years. But for me, I feel like authority damned your ability to jump into yourself.
Mm.
Have you noticed that the more you've grabbed freedom, the more you've morphed into what you really wanted to do, and it's opened doors for you to be who you actually always were? But
Mm.
that's what I'm saying. Sometimes authority is a wall. It's not a bad wall. It's not a bad thing, but it is a hindrance to certain people reaching their full potential. Because for me, there'd be situations like I came from Deja, which is a government school, and there's a bit of freedom. Then I went to SETA. You guys, I do not understand how that school is built. I'm telling you, for 2 years, I struggled to comprehend what was going on. It was the small. There's a thing. There's a leisure uniform, yeah,
Mm.
and they give you only two shirts. Think about this: one, two
As if
shirts,
prison.
blue shirts, and then they give you the other yellow one. You may think, no, they give you yellow on the house shirt.
Mm.
So the crazy part is the only time you can wear these blue yellow shirts is leisure. So like maybe after prep,
Mm.
when you go, no, after class during prep, or on the weekends. Now this is the part that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm.
You can only wear the yellow shirt on the pitch, on the sports pitches. They reached a point where they even wanted to ban jerseys, so everyone had
Yeah,
to wear a yellow shirt,
for us they banned
which
it.
doesn't make sense to
For us
me
they
because
banned
I have
it.
one shirt. So if I play in the evening today, I can't play sports tomorrow. And they'll be like, yeah, great, go and study.
For us, they
You
burnt
see that?
them.
That's crazy. The other thing is, I'm just promoting dirtiness at this point, honestly. I'm being honest with you. No,
But
do
that's
you know the
the
type of shirts these are? These are denim. They're
they are
hard.
heavy.
So like if it
They
was
were
a rainy
heavy.
season,
They were.
you're just gonna wear the shirt over and over again, which is crazy to me. Now the funny part is I have another option. The other t-shirts, yeah. So in my mind, fine, I should be able to wear the t-shirts to prep. If you wear the other shirt that they gave you, the school shirt, they will beat you for wearing that school shirt. And that's not the craziest part. They used to beat HSCs. They used to beat adults. Remember, because of quarantine, everyone was practically 18. You're making an 18-year-old lie down. P.S. We had tests on the weekend. So the weekend is your chill time. They put like 3 tests on Saturday and Sunday. So it was just academics, you know? Books, 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 books. I remember before we went for quarantine, the guys that failed in Form 5, I to this day I can't comprehend this. This is discipline in front of the whole school on assembly. They read the last 5 people in every stream and they brought them to the top. No, they stopped doing it after quarantine, but before I can never forget this. They brought them to the top and they were made them stand there for the entire assembly. So you have to think about this. Some of these guys are cool guys. Some of these guys and the worst part is some of these guys were my friends. And one of these, 2 of these guys that they put on that are studying abroad now. Like they were never, it was just, you know how you feel some tests, yeah? But these guys are now doing well, better than the guys that got that was smart. And it's horrible. And that's why sometimes order and discipline is dangerous.
Okay, there's something that you have mentioned that I also want to hint on, where you said something about how you're not like that thing where they embarrass people, like the last 5 people in class, you go and on the stage and they show off how you're the last part. Exactly. But I'm going to give you my personal experience of what happened. So in Form 6 first term, I I missed mocks. I didn't know the way balancing works in HSC. Once you miss one paper, it's useless. Eh? Yeah, so I missed papers, and on that on like that paper we had to, I was like the last person on like that. There were 3 sheets. This is a funny part. You know, they're like sheets. Actually, there were 3 sheets. The first sheet was like a list of like 50 people, and the next one had like 50 people. Then there was like a third sheet down. It was just a unit report. Last one. Then he's like, Chino Chiriwa. Eh? Like, we had the history teacher. I didn't like him. Eh? He was like, Chino Chiriwa. Then I remember at that moment I was like, unopo agenda funa 3 wabakoze nnyo because I and that was
Like 3
crazy.
points.
3 points. Wabakoze nnyo. And obviously, it can't compare to being taken like at the front of the
Yeah.
assembly. But to me, I don't know why, but I'm grateful that that happened because in my Form 6, I didn't want to study. I was like, I'd read something where they were like, ban the boat. If you want to do something, like, ban the boat, like,
So that you don't do
yeah, so
it.
that you don't have to do it. So I feel like that moment, him saying that, I was like, man, I have to
Thanks.
like whatever. I have to like pass because of this 3 points. Yeah. So for most people, also what I've seen for life, it depends how the other people take the message. You get, because there's someone who might have been in the same situation. Instead of it's motivating
Changing
the
them.
person, they're like,
Broke their spirit.
exactly. So
You
be
know,
tougher.
to what you're saying is for me, this exact same thing, similar to what you've said,
Yeah.
happened to me. Like I didn't fail as badly as or anything,
As bad as
but
well.
3 points. But in my first ever exam in SETA, I failed the whole economics paper, like because of tense. And if you know economics, there's
Paper
a
chop.
certain word, the way you're supposed to. So everything was correct except that. And the guy just got a line and just. So in
Also,
the time,
second thing
the
goes to
part where,
control. Eh? Like,
yeah,
why do you have, you see, schools,
that's
man.
exactly. So like like you see, if I said that and instead I'm supposed to say these, just because I would start every statement with the same thing. So you just use that and just underline down ones like this.
Mm.
And I just both papers, I did the same mistake in both exams. So I was not on the first to shoot. So before I came to SETA, like the people that had studied with me in DJ had like Man's a books guy. So like the guys in the class were expecting, and then I failed. And I remember I was on like 1, 2, third mark sheet. I was like, and I will never forget this. They were like, I won't say they are who they are, but they said a statement, and they said it in my absence. They said it to someone else,
Yes.
something about how that guy was just a pretender. And if you really know me, those things, small, I kept that thing. And I made sure that I never was ever be, if I was not on the first mark sheet, that was failure. So
You
it
should,
motivated me well. But for me, I feel like it's unfair to take that risk on on all people, because if 50% of people think like me and it's going to make them be better, 50% are going to be destroyed. And these are people's lives. These are people's confidence and the way they perceive life. And that control that you're putting on them, it's just unfair because it's Russian roulette, you know? If they shoot you, it misses, but it catches Shiva. You understand?
mm.
So it's just you can't treat people, especially children's life like this. It's
But can I
crazy.
ask you guys a question? True, true. Even me had the same opinion. You should delete your phone. But do you think there's this babe? I like her. She has a podcast. It's called Candace. There's a statement she said. She was like, "Life
Candice,
is,"
the American map.
and she's like, "Life is tough. Grab a helmet." Like, to be honest, if it's not that, it's going to be something else. Obviously, in this life thing, you're never going to like. The truth is, people don't really care about your feelings. That's the truth. At the end of the day,
Mm.
anyone can hurt you at any time. You're just waiting for when. It's not. It's not. Is it likely? It's going to happen. Something's going to happen to you. So
Yes.
I feel like also we should be teaching a message of,
Toughen up.
yeah, like grab a helmet. This thing is not for what, for weak people. Like,
I've asked, so I have a question.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you think all people respond to tough love? And the
Mm.
question is, do you think all people are meant to be tough? Because it's the same thing men have, you know? I've never met a man who has never said, I want a tender woman. I want a kind, loving woman. Do you think a kind, loving woman who's loving and open to the beauty of life can be built by situations like that? Or does tough love beat that loveliness, her open mindedness, her
Yeah.
sweetness? Does it beat it out of her?
Okay, but then I think there you have to find what helps you in that situation. Like if it's a person, you get like, don't don't become tough like the other person who has done that to you. Like find a way of dealing with how people treat you rather than like shrinking to it. But like you get like have a support system
Yes,
of what
there is
happens.
that. There
Yeah.
is that. But then there are remain people, and people are emotional. People
But
are
then do you think it's
emotional.
a bad thing for people to be like, if something bad happens, like it's okay for you to like not be okay, like for like if it is to like be sad, or do you think it's better for you to be like, man, if life happens, like be tougher, like
But that thing
go through
eventually
it?
comes back to you.
Which thing?
Like if you say be tougher and move on from what's making you sad, that sadness will still come back for you. And there are people who don't even heal from
Yeah, but
that.
then I think there I have a way of dealing with it. Like I use it not, I do not think of myself lesser than because someone has said I'm lesser than. You get?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
there are times
if
someone has made you feel like you're less than, and you feel that you're less than.
for me it doesn't affect me like that. I do not like if someone says
Even
something
if you
about
say I'm not affected, but
you.
to some extent, at times you are.
Okay, but you see, that's the thing. At that moment, I may feel some type of way. Okay, but if I sit on it and like have time to like deal with it, I will not like go into a corner and like cry about my life and what you get. That I try not to like. There's no benefit to being sad about
So I have a
it.
question about
Yeah.
that. You keep saying like, don't let the pain destroy you or the same. Do you think that kind of mentality makes people desensitized to their feelings? Because now, what do you mean like if something bad happens to me, I shouldn't
No, the
feel
example
pain?
the example she gave was that if someone comes and says something about you, like, and what's your response going to be to that? They're like, hey man, you're this and this and this. Are you going to go and be like, hey man? You start like doubting yourself. You're like, man, am I actually this? Am I actually this? And me, what I'm saying is, the way we should deal, like, there's a moment, like immediately it happens, you're like, You get it? But
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should dwell on that feeling of not being what you thought you are. You get it? Like, I feel like
It's
people
easy to
should.
say that, you know.
Yes,
It's
it
easy
is.
to
That's
say
the
that.
It's
truth.
easy.
It's
It's
very
easy
easy
to,
to say
but
that.
shouldn't that be the message that you tell people? Like, shouldn't people believe that they are who they think they are?
I think the message should be people should mind their damn businesses and stop talking in people's names. That
But
should be
Yeah.
the
I feel
message.
like that has been a statement said from like the beginning of time, but people inherently do not mind their own business.
No, 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 no,
And
no, 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 no.
and that,
I'm saying
So
like,
the same way people
if we
inherently
really
get
want,
hurt,
if we really want to solve the
regardless.
problem, let's solve the problem. Let's not solve the response to the problem, but the problem itself.
no, but you
Because
see,
listen, no, if you're saying what message should we teach, the message should be kind, do not tear down other people. Of course, that's still going to happen, and then that should be the primary message, and the secondary message can be what you're saying. If the primary message is do not treat people like do not objectify people, do not abuse them, do not treat them badly, then the secondary message should be if you are abused, take it on the chin. Then that I agree with. Do you get that?
I get that, but I feel like it's the truth is, I cannot control what you think or what Manzi thinks or what you're going to say to me. That's the truth. I cannot control that. And what can I control? What I think of it after. Not so. So you may be good people or you may be bad people. And as a bad person, you may say something to me that I do not feel comfortable with, and that I can never control. But what can I control? I can control how I react to it. I can decide if I'm going to like shrink and be like, if I'm going to be like,
No,
that's your what?
I
That's
agree with
that's
that.
that's that's, that's, that's up to you.
I agree with that. But what you can also control is what you teach.
What you say to other people.
Yeah, what you say to other people. What you can control is how you're going to treat other people and how the people under your influence can be influenced to treat other people. And if the pattern is of continuous teaching, and the teaching is to show love, to be kind, to not judge, to not abuse, the main problem, which is not when you're abused, take it on the chin, but the problem of do not abuse is solved like that. That's what I'm saying. Do you get that? Yeah, yeah. So the next thing I want to ask is, what do you find most interesting at this stage of your life? What is the most interesting thing? I know Shiba's life is interesting for sure. So let me sit up.
No, you guys just,
Uh huh.
I don't know, like, okay, at this stage, what I find interesting,
You don't know.
of course, I go out more. Yeah, that's the most interesting part.
Where
And
do
I
you
feel
go? Tell
like,
our viewers
and
where
I
they
feel
can
Where they
find
like,
can
you.
find you.
Where can our
no,
viewers find? Okay, Aziz, tell them.
what if your viewers are serial killers?
It's a controlled environment. It's a lot of people.
Real.
How they carry out?
So uh,
That are avoiding it.
at this point in time, I go out more. Relationships are more like, okay, relationships you have with people are more intense. Like they actually have weight.
Define intense.
They actually have weight. That's what I mean. Like,
They have weight.
how can I say this without? They have more weight. They have more meaning, and yeah.
Do they?
Even if we're just hooking up, it has way more meaning. Like
What
at
meaning is
this point in
what
time.
meaning can come from just hooking up?
No, like even if I was just hooking up, because the hooking up you are doing before your 20s is
We were
different.
doing
I'm not saying specifically you.
hooking up before 20s? As in my mother's house.
General public.
Exactly. So I'm saying
Uh,
what you are doing then is not what you're doing
yeah.
now. What you're doing now is even more risky. Like, yeah.
What you're doing now is more risky. That's what you mean.
What?
What you're doing now is more risky.
What what everyone is doing at this point in time is more risky. Then you're more exposed, you're making more choices for yourself. You have more control over what you do. Even your relationships with your parents are more different than what they used to be before.
Are they
Because
better
right
or
now,
worse?
I mine have been bumpy, but they eventually became better because
You're older
now they
now.
see me more an adult. Like he can call you because the relationship I have now with my dad, he can call me and inform me of things that I see as if they do not concern me, but I'm seeing he's informing me about these things because
You feel like there's more respect now.
because he feels like I'm an adult and I should be knowing these things. Like he can call me up and tell me, by the way, we lost this person. I've never met this person. This person is like 80 years, 80 something. I've never met him. But he's telling me, you know what? We lost this person. Yeah, I did this and this and this. Yeah. And he informs me, but we've never had those conversations with him at that point in time. Yeah.
How about first real
How
professional?
about
I think for me, the most interesting thing about life right now is, you know, things I've manifested for a long time, seeing them come into fruition. For me, that's what is the most interesting thing. You know, I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man, but like,
You're
no, it's
happy.
just, yeah, I'm happy in most ways, honestly. And it's just, for me, that's the most interesting thing about the current period I am now is goals. Things I've always, when you're a kid, you see guys in a suit, or you see guys walking, or you see guys say, I want to do something, something as spontaneous as this podcast as well. Like, this is something that just thought of as a joke. And then it's the
it has become
ability,
a real
yeah,
thing?
it's the ability to speak things to life now. Because then I could dream, but as a kid, no one was gonna take me seriously. I couldn't walk to a room and make things happen.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point in my life where I can just say things and just do them. And no one's gonna take me like a child or
Yeah.
put my me down. They're gonna be like, hey, okay, we'll listen to what you have to say. And for me, it has been the greatest gift this new age, this new period of my life has brought me. Um, Although it's real as hell because when it comes to relationships and friendships, there's a lot of breakage, a lot of chaos sometimes, and I'm at a point of reality with a lot of things that I did not notice for a long time, things I did not believe could happen. It's just that you know how people tell you that you reach an age where friendships start to collapse and build and collapse and
Yeah.
build, and we're at that age, like be it friendships, relationships, companionships.
Exactly what I
It's
told you.
exactly
They've
so.
become more intense.
Yeah,
and
yeah, they're
more.
very intense, and I'm navigating that. That's the challenge. As much as it's the other stuff is interesting, that is the challenge. The challenge of navigating who now is going to walk with me into the most important phase of my life, and that's a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What do you?
Cool.
Man, what I find interesting about 20s is people have more freedom, but people are less happy. Like I don't
Yeah, that's
like,
real. That's real.
and man, it kind of shows like, are we? Is this like is this what I was happy for? Like, is this?
Is it what you are
Yeah, and also
excited to?
growing up was so sudden. Like,
Mm.
I don't know what age like where you like. I'm now like an old person. You get? I remember being a kid, then I just know what has happened now. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
life goes a bit faster now for me personally. Like when I was in primary, a year would take like 4 years. But I don't know how 2024 has gone. I don't know how we're in what are we in October?
Toba.
We're in October. Imagine already in October. And the pressure for me, I just have like a sudden pressure where I'm like, bro, yeah, you're going to reach 31 and you have nothing to show for. You get? And I don't know I don't know how to navigate it, but then also one thing that I've realized with being this age is run with it. Like, plan as much as you can. Plan, think things through, what. But at the end of the day, what you think is going to happen may most likely not
Not
happen,
happen.
and
Real.
take it on the chin. You get it? Yeah.
The next question for me, for you guys, is what's the craziest thing that has happened in your ah 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 ah
I'm not judging any.
So craziest thing happened in your turn.
in your 20s? What's the craziest thing? Sheba.
Where is that?
Please, you're the guest. What do you mean?
Not a guest.
You're the
Because
guest.
you're the honored.
I don't
Honor.
Do you
know.
know the intro? If you know the whole intro, word for word, we'll go to someone else first. Yeah, no,
Sadly.
yeah.
The craziest
Craziest.
things.
Good or bad? Good or bad? Or both. You can give us
Okay.
both answers.
The most unexpected things that okay. right now in my 20s is when I started realizing my politics and where I stand with them. Because at first,
You what?
my politics
Politics.
and
Yeah,
where
I
I
just
stand
wanted you to
with
say
them,
that twice.
Your what?
my politics and where I stand with them. And because before I didn't know what, honestly, before I didn't know what I was talking about. Shiba, I didn't know what she was talking about before.
Your what part
Because
queen?
at
What
first
part said?
I used to say that I am a feminist, but I didn't know what I was talking about before. But I didn't know that what I was talking about needed me to just sit down and analyze and read. You guys, I've been doing a lot of reading, like a lot of it. And that's when I started realizing, oh, I didn't know whatever that S word is then, but now this is how it's supposed to be. And when I look back, there are things that I did, and
Like what?
I think there are opinions that I used to have, and I'm like, right now I look back and I'm like, why? Like,
I have
so,
a question. Because Simani is a
mm,
Simani,
Hmm.
but Jagara Manya.
Nagara
Jagara
Nagara
Kumanya.
kumanya.
mm,
You get it? So I do not know what a feminist is. Sometimes I feel like I'm hating on something I don't even understand. You get it? And
mm,
obviously that's a big thing, but
mm,
since you've been doing a bit of studying, how
yeah,
as brief as you
As
can.
brief as you can.
as brief as I can, um, I feel like the issue is women have been like, we are a big percentage of of the species that is existing, and yet there is a lot that there are a lot of rights, and there are a lot of things, not specifically that there are rights, that have not been accorded to us. It has always been a man's world, and up till now there are things that we look at right now, because at first the first wave of feminism that started was only for white women, and that's why even black women and African women don't see themselves in that picture. But now we are struggling for things like um bodily autonomy,
Like
the
what?
government bodily autonomy, the
What's that?
government and the
Control over their
institution,
own
like
bodies.
control of what we do with our bodies, control of our reproductive
You do not have that.
choices, and like how,
I really want to know.
yeah. And so when it comes to the issue of contraceptives, that's what we are fighting for. Did you know that at first women never had any access to contraceptives? Did you know that the first pills that were even created and brought for a woman to use them, they had to have permission from their husbands to use them? Yet I don't know whether the word vagina is a
Sure.
curse word.
Mhm.
Is it a
No,
curse
it
word?
isn't.
Yeah. So it's my vagina, it's my uterus. But at some point in time, people are making choices for me. Actually, even right now, there is legislation that is limiting. You know how fertility. A lot of women, actually, there are a good number of women that can't naturally give birth, and they need fertility clinics to give birth, and they are opting for other methods such as surrogacy. So now there is legislation that's being talked about of restricting that, and saying that for
Restricting
women,
surrogacy.
yeah, all those things, fertility clinics, what they're restricting it to only women who have husbands. Like, so you must have a man's permission to have a child.
So basically, feminism is the ability for a
So
woman
it's a
to have
big
her
deal
own power.
for a lot of those things. So leave alone things like contraception. People are defining how we are supposed to look like. Pap always defined how there is an ideal woman and how they're supposed to look like. They're supposed to be of fairer skin. They're supposed to be of a certain size. They're supposed to be wearing of in a certain way. You get, there is a lot of backlash that is received by women in the, not even in the public, but by women in general, of how they dress. If you dress too much like um, a man, they're saying you're dressing too much like a man. Azawi has so much backlash for that. Yet that's what she wants. For her, that's what she wants. If you dress so much like, if you dress too feminine and you're you're exposing yourself, so we can't really win anywhere. If you do this, you're a person. Like, have you realized that every woman actually has ever been called a prostitute. Everyone. And I'm not saying sex work is bad and has a negative. Yes, it does have. It just has negative connotations stuck to it. But every woman has been called a prostitute for having piercings, for having tattoos, for wearing a certain way, for having a certain haircut, for like.
You know, I agree with a lot of the stuff you said, and I fear that I don't want to say anything damning
Yeah.
because I agree with a vast majority of the things. But, you know, when it comes to certain statements, like, you know, when you talked about, like, let's say a woman not dressing a certain type of way, etc., I think for me, there's certain times where feminism derives the conversation just a little bit because the only time I worry about what a woman is dressing in is if she's a woman who's attached to me. And that, that's the thing about it, And
Yeah.
if I found I'm at fault if I find a woman dressed a certain type of way, and I tell her to dress another certain type of way, I'm wrong for that. And for that I agree. But if I made it clear that I just it's something I'm uncomfortable with,
Exactly.
it's okay that she finds someone who's understanding to that kind of lifestyle. Because a lot of people, it's just a shame. It's like I feel ashamed that my friends get to see a part of her that I would much rather prefer that I only see, because maybe also when it comes to husbandhood, when you're in a marriage, does anyone have individual rights, or is it a unison? Because if that's not the case, then what is a marriage? A marriage means that the decisions you make should be by both of you, and what you do is a direct representation of me. Do you get what I mean? So if she does something, they're not gonna say just, hey, Shiba dresses a certain type of way, or Shiba says a certain type of thing. They're gonna say Shiba, Manzi's wife. You understand? So in every action you do, I'm directly affiliated, associated with it. And in situations like that is when I think feminists sometimes don't put things into context. Because if they put things into context, then you have to understand where some of these men that are complaining and whining, because half the times, obviously, there's misguided masculinity, a lot of toxic masculinity as well. But if someone's argument is just that this is not what we signed up for, this is not what you showed me at the beginning, do you think in a time like that they're right to feel the way they feel?
Let Paul first get
Okay, I
what
have
he's just
something.
what he wanted.
So the views, I get where you're coming from, and I feel like you're not coming from a malicious point of view. But I feel ideally you're trying to make people not be people, because people are inherently opinionated. Like someone may not even care, but they see in a short skirt, they're like, Oyamba Deviche. You get, and people are inherently opinionated. And also, it's something that you played on that at first I was like, why would they do that? Where you said something about surrogacy, where you're like, you're not allowed to use fertility clinics. And
Exactly.
it made me realize also, like, on points or on things like abortion, on things like, I feel like sometimes feminists are blindsided to the rights of the person who they are going to bring into the world. You get, and as a person, you feel like the child who you want to bring into the world has a right to like a father.
Now,
You get what I mean? Like if you're
all
saying
of
you
you,
don't need a man,
Auntie, yeah, all of you
mm,
have said the things that you wanted to say.
Yeah.
And so one of the first connotations that people, negative connotations, I don't know whether to me, I don't know whether it's negative or not. Actually, I don't think it's negative, but most people think that feminism means I hate men.
no, no, no.
No,
God
like
said that.
that's one of the
No, yeah,
negative connotations that are attached to
no,
it.
yeah.
I hate men. I don't need men. Yes, I don't need men, but I hate men. So I won't lie, you people. Me, I hate men. But that isn't something
You hate all men?
that
But
isn't
Do you hate
something.
all
you know
men?
No, that
what?
isn't something that
Do you hate all men?
But why
that
would
isn't
you? Could you
no what
explain
I'm
why you?
saying,
No,
but
no, no.
let me
Do you
first give
hate
my
all men?
disclaimer after saying what I've said.
Yeah.
Said me personally, I hate men, but I don't want that to be the narrative for every feminist, and
Feminist.
We
that's
understand
not
that.
the idea
No, but
that
you
Do you
see,
hate all
also
it's
you
men?
just
can't say
me.
something like that
But
and
do
It's
you
not give
hate?
just
us
me.
point.
I
Do
have
you
to give
hate
a
all
Why?
men?
Why
I
not?
have
Why?
to give no because me, most especially someone like me who has claimed the title feminist. And then all that I have, I've helped, I've educated myself. People have educated me. Like I've done all the background work. I've read, and when inherently by that, when you read all these things, all these institutionally, when I look back, all my problems that are existing, that have ever existed, are because of men. You think I'm going to like them and leave alone all those external forces? Now, for me, there are personal forces around me where I know those issues and all those bad things that happen to me are because of a man. That's not going to leave
This
me
goes back to
liking men. That's not going to leave me
I
liking men.
get
So there is that.
I get where you come from.
Then there is what Manzi said. Manzi said that
Oh,
how are my wife's choices going to affect me? So now feminism is not for men. It's for necessarily, that's what I'm going to tell you. It's not for men. It's
so
for the
men can't be
woman.
feminist.
Men can be feminists. Men can only identify as allies of the feminist movement.
Men can't be
identify.
feminists.
Yes, men can't identify as feminists. That's why even when they are citing, when we are attending those conferences and we are reading all those things, you're not going to find a place where they are citing a feminist male author said this, because it was a place to provide inclusivity for women. Now, what will be the whole point to bring, you know?
But also,
And
do you feel
also,
Let her
another
finish.
reason for that, as much as you, because I have a lot of friends by my side, not a lot, but the few men who are my friends, most of them are, they agree with the things I do. They like
Some of
they
the things.
support.
Some of the things.
So like they can't be, as much as they are so passionate about it, they can't be labeled as feminists, because as much as they understand me and they get and they understand all that stuff, they will never know what the woman experience is, because they've never been in that body.
So answer the question.
So the marriage thing, before I even start talking about marriage, inherently marriage is
Partnership.
a patriarchal institution, and you can't feminist a marriage. That's the one thing I can. That's the one thing
how
I
is
can.
it a patriarchal
You can't.
institution?
It's a patriarchal institution because
How?
the whole point of a marriage is that the head of the family is the man. That's inherently patriarchal, and all the norms you have, all the cultural norms that you go through to arrive at the destination of it being identified as a marriage are also patriarchal. The customs within, the mother is a homemaker. And I'm not saying that in all marriages that's how it is, but the whole build of it is patriarchal. The father, the
So
man.
answer the question.
So one thing I tell people, one thing I know, and one thing feminists have told me is that you can't feminist a marriage. So either you be in the marriage and allow yourself to enter those norms and customs, and
Do you see yourself getting married one day?
Why put a
that's
label on
one
it?
thing
Eh?
that's one thing I don't
Because that would mean you have to
that's
give up
one thing I
this
don't
power.
put in my plans.
So you don't see yourself.
I don't put in my plans, but if it happens,
Would you concur to
I
the?
don't know.
Would you concur to these norms that you do
That
not believe in?
I doubt. I highly
So
doubt.
you would not enter the
Yes.
marriage.
So one thing, you can't feminist a marriage, but there are very many feminists who are married and they are happy and they are there. But it all
Do they
depends on
still
what's happening.
do some of the
Because
things
there
that
is
I,
this
that I,
because there
that I
is
brought
this
up?
very, very prominent Ugandan feminist. She has written a lot, and she's even in she's in the gender department of law school, law. She's very good. She's called Sylvia Tamale. As I've mentioned her name, I know the feminists are screaming and they're like, yeah.
I still haven't answered my question.
She's married.
Does she do the things that I said can be perceived as disrespectful to men? Does she respect her man and therefore act in a way that respects him by the way
I'm
she
not
acts?
in her marriage, but
No,
one thing
from what you see, because
yeah,
you
auntie,
know
I'm
her.
saying, yeah, I'm not in her marriage, but what I know, she retained her names. She didn't carry on
But
the man's name.
that's minute.
you've
Yeah,
not.
it's my
I gave you examples of
yes,
things that are
it's
disrespectful to a
minute.
partner.
So, auntie, there are things that I don't know because I'm not
According
there.
to what you've seen, according to
Mm.
the way she speaks, the way she acts, the way she dresses, the way she conducts herself, does she respect the fact that she is a representation of her partner? Because that is the only argument I have
A
against feminism
representation of her
sometimes.
partner.
Yes,
Most of
as
her,
as equal as he is a
yeah,
representation of her.
yeah. Most of her, what I've seen in the way she talks, the way she does her things, most of you might think that she's even independent. Really and truly, that's how she is. But I get where you're coming from, that your partner is an extension of you.
It is. It has to be.
But what I'm saying, when it comes to marriage, I don't have any thoughts on it.
Because
Other than you can't tell
because for me
me.
now, it's not just that. It's not just a representation of me. After we have children, they are a direct representation of them as well. So I'm imagining my wife, going out there saying men are trash. And I am the man that they look their children. No, literally, I'm being very serious. Like she's saying, imagine if you were a mother right now, and you have a husband. Let's presume I'm the husband and I'm not here on the podcast. And my children, even if they are young and they don't see it now, 5 years from now, they're watching YouTube, and they see a TikTok of you saying you hate men, and I am a man and I'm the direct image that they watch, that they adore. How would you feel if he went on a podcast and said he hated women? That is the irrationality that happens with some feminism opinions. Let me finish. It's the fact that sometimes it does not put into context. It does not put things into context. It does not put to the fact that the statements they're saying affect not just them, their partners, their friends, their relationships, etc. And then when they come back, they want us to act like it's okay. It's not okay in certain situations. If feminism was equal rights and your body is your goal, fine. I'm very okay with everything like that. The only thing I'm not okay with is if you have an extension, you have someone you represent, and then you misrepresent them. You represent them in a way that does not just make you look good, but makes them look bad.
Yeah. Then the last thing I'm going to say about this is feminism wasn't created to be palatable to.
To be what?
Even to
It
other
wasn't
women.
created to be palatable to
Marriage.
men specifically.
What of your
and
children
also
who
to,
may be girls? What of your friends who may be women?
You've said other
Okay, I
women,
think you're forgetting one
but you've also
principle
said other women.
of how it does not support anything patriarchal. So
Yeah.
even if you just
For
say
you,
anything
all
about a
those
family,
institutions that you're saying, what if this, what if this, what if this? Well, it was created because it doesn't care about what that has to be. For us, we are this side, and this is what we are saying, and this is
Is
what we are
having a child patriarchal?
yes.
No,
It's a simple question. It's not.
no.
So
That's why when I saw on
So
Twitter
having a
and
child
people
is
were
not
attacking
patriarchal.
Shiba for having a kid,
No, that's
I was
fine.
like, do you people know?
Okay, so even if it's not word look aside, do you think a feminist opinions are they affect the way they affect their children? Even assuming a feminist has them. So since it does not care about any men's opinions, it does not care about how what you do affects your son.
This is the thing.
You've not yet got there. I feel like feminism has not
This is
yet
the
got to that
thing.
point.
Also, there are very many spectrums of feminism. Like, people identify in different ways. It wasn't created to be palatable to the men. And as you said, how about the women? If there are women who feel like it's not palatable for them,
It's not meant
then
for them.
those, I don't know how to even say it in a way that it's not, but then those are also, it's also not meant for them. Like, you choose your path and you stay on it. Because there are women who also be like, I don't identify as a feminist and I don't want anything to do with that. And that's okay. That's them. Like, that's their life. And I'm not forcing anyone to join this life. I'm not forcing anyone to.
Okay. I get
Can I
what
say
you're
something
saying.
small?
Get what you mean. And this is my take on this. Feminism hasn't reached a certain point where they can answer all the questions that are being asked. That's the first thing. But also, I feel like also that's a contradiction. There are so many lines that are blurred. You may not have answers for, but you need to have answers for. And also a question I wanted to tell you, a question I wanted to ask you earlier, even before all of this. I was like,
also, you've said that we haven't yet reached there. Even me, in my process, I have not reached where I want to be. Every day I'm learning, and every day I get 5 steps back. And even there are times even when other people check me and they're like, no, this is not what you stand for. Which Manzi has done that several times.
I get that it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Anyways, we
Now,
have
before we finish, I want to say one thing only. I need to make it clear that I am not an enemy to the feminist movement. All I'm saying is, no. This has to be put out there. It's just that I feel like very more often than not,
Mm.
the challenges, the discrepancies, the failures of the feminist movement are not highlighted. And without those failures, without those things being pointed out, I don't think feminism can reach a point where it can achieve what it should be achieving to a
Mm.
larger scale. I think it is a good movement if it is executed in a way that is not just selfish, that it is only for them.
Mm.
Because the ecosystem enablers of that same movement have to be more than just women. Men have to be convinced, as much as it is used, as much as it doesn't sound, you need other people to push that movement to a point where it achieves what it needs to achieve more effectively, more efficiently. And to do that, I feel like they need to answer certain questions, and also they need to be aware of the same problems that are in the movement and try to solve them. That's it. So
Remarks, your last remarks.
we're supposed to talk about
Your last.
guys, we've run out of time, I think.
Mm.
This is
I'm done.
you're
Like
done, no?
I said what I wanted to say.
I think as
No,
we
we're
leave that
close.
movement away, we're supposed to say just for like 5 seconds, we all say what we're most excited about this new age.
Mm.
And yeah, we can call it a podcast. What are you excited about this new age? Yeah, we're going back to
Make
what the
sure
topic
that you
is.
always like me.
But what have
Let's see what.
no, just what are you most excited about? No, what do you intend to achieve by the time you're 30? Briefly, very, very briefly. What do you intend to achieve before you're 30?
Um, I want to have made a more significant impact in the things that I'm fighting for and the things that I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh,
Um, I've uh, I've goals
mm,
that I want to achieve. So hopefully that. But also in my mind, I do not try to plan out my life like step by step. I try to leave it as liquid as possible.
spontaneous.
Yeah, it's free flowing because I feel like it's better that way. But yeah. Anyway, I feel like we'll have this conversation
So
again
for me, I can't
because
talk.
I have a lot. No, I'm still finishing. I don't know you say
But you are
stuff.
cutting me off.
Yeah, so we'll try to do this again, and
Yeah.
I also
We need to have a topic
air
about
out
this.
things. Yeah, so your last remark.
The world, Chico, and everything in it. No, but like by the time I'm 30, I hope to have achieved the career goals that I have. I hope to have generational wealth. I hope to be. I hope to have made my.
Nice. Some generational wealth.
Yeah, don't worry. Proximity to wealth is wealth. So I hope to make my mother proud. Mm, and I also hope to be a father and a husband by then. So
By 30.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
so early.
yeah, yeah. It's the goal. It's the
Ali
goal.
for who? For him, for you.
For anyone
30 years.
to have you.
That's been a wrap, guys. Yeah, see you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next week.
Shout out everyone that's made this happen.
Um,
I don't know if I can mention them yet, but shout out to them for making it
It's in this
happen.
part one.
And yeah,
Mm.
till next time, Don't Let Me Podcast. Shiba, thank you for being here. Thank you for the strong conversations, and we'll see you next time. Peace.